Well, you can be an advocate for abused and neglected children if you have a heart for children and you want to see a young child's life turn for the better. You can do so by becoming a volunteer for CASA. LisaBanks is with us today. She is our special guest here at Radio 1 DC Stations. I am SheilaStewart, Director of News and Community Affairs Programming. There were over 30 children that died from abuse in Virginia last year. You can help make a difference and you can help stop that with your time, your efforts, and your ability to serve as a volunteer. They need volunteers right now. It's the CASA. CASA stands for, once again, Court-Appointed Special Advocates. And LisaBanks is representing the Fairfax CASA organization today. They are a nonprofit, and they have chapters and they have different affiliates in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. So if you live in one of those areas, Lisa's going to provide a phone number now, and she will direct you where you can begin volunteering and giving of your time.
If you want to learn more about the CASA program in general, you can go to the National CASA website, which is casaforchildren.org, and you can always punch in your zip code, and it will show you where the closest CASA program is to you. If you live in Fairfax County, please call me immediately at 703-273-3526, or go to our website and learn more about information sessions and how you can become a volunteer. And our website is fairfaxcasa.org.
Now, you are hosting you have another information session, which is a basic introduction to the community about the CASA organization, as well as what it takes to become a volunteer. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. We hold 2 information sessions every month, and one is in our offices in Fairfax, Virginia, right across from the courthouse. The next one in our office is on Monday, July 9th at 12 o'clock from 12 to 1. You can come and learn about becoming a CASA volunteer to see if it's right for you. And then we have another one on Saturday, July 21st from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Reston Regional Library. And it's a great opportunity to come and hear from other volunteers who are in the program, and to talk to our recruitment and training director about what it takes to become a volunteer, what kind of a training you would need, and all of the hoops that you have to jump through essentially to be a volunteer.
Okay. Now, if you don't live or work in the Fairfax area, can one still volunteer? Again, you have chapters in Maryland and D.C., correct?
Absolutely. Prince George's County, I know they need volunteers desperately, as does the D.C. CASA and Montgomery County, Prince William, Arlington, Alexandria. You can just Google CASA, C-A-S-A, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, and you will find the one that's local to you, and give them a call, because we all have need, and serving children is really important, because when a CASA helps a child, that child usually stays in foster care an average of 7 months less. They have more services ordered for them, and they receive the support that they need so they don't fall through the cracks of the system that's trying to help them.
It's a big problem, and we are encouraging you right now, if you are listening to this edition of our Public Affairs Show, to get involved with CASA. Again, CASA stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates, a nonprofit that uses regular citizens like you and I to become advocates for abused and neglected children. In D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, they have chapters all over the U.S., but right now we are highlighting the Fairfax CASA organization, which LisaBanks is with us today. What is your role there? You are the spokeswoman, or?
I'm the executive director of the program,
okay.
And I've worn many hats. I've raised funds. I was the program manager, and I've been a volunteer myself, so I know the value of working with children, and I know that one person can change a child's life for the better.
What is the reaction from some of the kids that have gotten volunteer support from some of the members of CASA?
I think that the most profound thing that I experience is that children learn to trust again, because they have had so many broken promises and so many people that didn't follow through. And when a CASA volunteer is a consistent presence and support in their life, not because they're being paid to do it, but because they really want to improve the child's life, you see children open up and they start to look at the world a little more hopefully. And I think that that's a profound impact that we can have on our youth, and also supporting them makes it easier for them to have lives of promise where they have choices in their life.
Does the volunteer, are they able to maintain a relationship with the child after they've gone through the court system?
Well, when the case closes, we are supposed to say goodbye to the child. Now, if the child wishes to reach out to a CASA volunteer and continue a relationship, the child can do that. And then it's up to the CASA volunteer if they want to maintain a relationship. But in general, when we close the case, it's like being a teacher and you move on to the next grade. You know, a CASA volunteer will go on to help another child. But many of our volunteers have stayed in touch and become mentors of these children as they've aged out of the system and become adults. And they've been lifelong forces for those children.
I think is wonderful, and I applaud the efforts of all the volunteers with CASA, court-appointed special advocates. We thank you, LisaBanks, for joining us today and sharing your heart and your story and your testimony to our listeners here at Radio 1 DC stations.
Thank you so very much for the opportunity.
Do the phone number once more on the website.
Sure. Our website is fairfaxcasa.org. The national website is casaforchildren.org. And our phone number in Fairfax is 703-273-3526.
One more time, please, with the phone number.
703-273-3526.
All right, 703-273-3526 if you want to become a volunteer for CASA. Where did the name come from, by the way? I'm just out of curiosity.
A judge started the program in Seattle, Washington, and he decided that he wanted to appoint citizens to be advocates. So court-appointed special advocates, a special person to speak for children to help the judge.
What should one do? Let's just say you're out and about and you see a parent or a man or woman that is literally physically abusing the child. Do you step in? I mean, how do you handle a situation like that?
I think it varies. I think if you think a child is at risk, I would always step in. If you know of a situation of a child who you know in your neighborhood or in your child's school, you can always call Child Protective Services, their hotline, and you don't have to be right or wrong as to whether abuse is occurring. But if you report it, the Child Protective Services will investigate and they will look into it and make sure that a child is safe.
You know, like when I'm out with my son sometimes and we're out at any store, grocery store, and, you know, he's one, so he's edging into the terrible twos. And, you know, I have to pop him, like, stop, you know, and I feel so bad sometimes. It's just a little, you know, but I wonder sometimes, are people looking at me like, is she an abuser, you know?
Well, there's a big difference between a bad parenting day and, you know, getting your child's attention.
I think a person can tell.
Abuse.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If I were in that situation out and if I saw someone or mom or dad just like whack with their fist or something, that's just, I would step in.
Yeah. And I think we should. And
I think we all should.
And I think that's why the schools are so important too, because teachers are mandated reporters. So when they see children coming to school with signs of neglect
and they can
or
recognize
abuse,
it right away.
They absolutely have a legal mandate to report that. And that's where obviously we get a lot of our referrals from the school system.
Well, let's make a difference and stop child abuse and neglect in our children in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia by becoming an advocate for them. You can do so by calling 703-273-3526. It's the CASA organization, or go to casa.org. That's Fairfax, casa.org, Fairfax, CASA.org. Lisa Banks, thank you.
Thanks so very much.
Thank you so much.